I, Professor A.R. Kazi, Assistant Professor in Silver Oak University, welcomes you all in Node.js lecture series. During subsequent series, we will learn basic concept related to the Node.js. So let us start. So these are the topics that we will cover throughout the lecture series. First, why Node.js? Then Node.js background, features of Node.js, what are the features available in Node.js, where to use Node.js, that means in which situation we can use the concept of Node.js. Then Node.js environment setup, how to start with the Node.js, how to work with the Node.js. To work with the Node.js, we can work with the console base as well as web base. So how to start with the console base as well as how to start with the web base. Then REPL terminal, to work in a Node.js based on console, we will use the concept of REPL terminal. So, REPL terminal, we can um, work in a Node.js. Then Node Package Manager is a Hertz repository. So, inbuilt modules packages are available to work in a Node.js. Then serving HTML file with Node.js. That means how to deal with the HTML file in Node.js. Then routing in Node.js. Then dealing with the JSONs. If you want to build a API based on JSONs, so how can we build a API in a Node.js? So overall, these are the topics that we will cover in subsequent series of this Node.js. Now, first topic, why Node.js? So why Node.js is introduced? What type of requirement were required at that time? So Node.js introduced. So to first understand the Node.js, let us discuss the limitation of JavaScript. Limitation of JavaScript, that means uh, what we can't do with the JavaScript. So first limitation of JavaScript is totally dependent on the client browser. Totally dependent on client browser. That means client sides. We can't run JavaScript outside the browser. We can't run JavaScript outside the browser. That means what it is a client side. So if you want to implement server side functionality, so that is not possible with the JavaScript. If you want to implement functionality like database connectivity, if you want to insert record, if you want to retrieve some data from database, that we can't do with the JavaScript. If you want to perform read write operation on file, that is not possible with the JavaScript because it is a dependent on client browser, is a client side. Second, end user can turn off it. So end user can turn off it from the browser. It is dependent on browser, so someone can turn off it. Whatever, let's say, if you build a very good website, which fully features website based on the JavaScript concept, but someone can turn off that JavaScript from the browser, so your application will not run properly. So end user can control it. That means end user can turn off it. Then leading security problems. So security problem, whatever code you written in a JavaScript, that is clearly available to the end user. That is in a plain text. Someone can download that .js file as well as copy paste simply whatever code you written in your website. So there is a leading security problems. So to overcome this, we can use the concept of Node.js. Node.js introduced. Basically, Node.js introduced to overcome this the first point. That means we can't run JavaScript on the client side. But with the use of Node.js, now we can able to run JavaScript on a server side. So once we can able to run JavaScript on server side. That means what? With the use of JavaScript, we can implement server side functionality also. So this is the basic concept that implemented in the Node.js. That means why Node.js introduced. So simple. With the use of Node.js, we can run JavaScript on the server. So now Node.js background. So exactly what is Node.js? So Node.js is open source server environments. is a open source freely available, so you can easily download without of cost, and is a server environment. That means what? With the use of Node.js, we can run JavaScript on a servers. So Node.js allow you to run JavaScript on the server. So Node.js allow you to run JavaScript on the server. Node.js runs on various platforms. So we can Node.js work. We can use Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac. So different operating system to work with the Node.js. The Node.js built on Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. So Node.js is used Chrome implement with the use of Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. It is used in Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. So every browser has a JavaScript engine to support the JavaScript. So whatever JavaScript written in a website to support that components to support that code, every browser required a JavaScript engine. Say for example, the Chrome is use V8 JavaScript engine. Same way Mozilla is use a Spider Monkey JavaScript engine. Microsoft Edge is use a Chakra, that is a JavaScript engine for Edge. Same way Chrome is use V8 JavaScript engine. So now exactly what is Node.js? The Node.js equal to runtime environment plus JavaScript library. So Node.js is with the use of Node.js, we can run JavaScript on the server plus JavaScript library. So in Node.js, there is a Hush repository, lots of packages or you can say modules ready-made available so you can use in your applications. So Node.js equal to JavaScript on server plus JavaScript library, Hush repository. So who invented Node.js? The Node.js was developed by Ryan Dahal, Google engineer in 2009. So Ryan Dahal, Google engineer, developed, introduced the concept of Node.js. Now how actually this concept is developed? So whole code of the Node.js is developed in C++. So what actually Ryan Dahal did? He made a C++ program, and whatever code they use, whatever code use in Google Chrome V8, whatever code use in Google Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. So he integrate all the V8 JavaScript engine code into the C++ program. So he integrate V8 JavaScript engine code into C++ program and make a executable file .exe file. So what happened once this exe file run on client machine? So JavaScript will support also in that machine. If we install that program on server, that means JavaScript also support on the server side. So this whole Node.js is implemented in C++. So idea come up from like this way. Whatever JavaScript, whatever V8 JavaScript code of V8 JavaScript engine. So Ryan Dahal implemented all this code, integrate all this code into the C++ program and make a executable file. And he gave name to the that program in Node.js. So when we install Node.js in client machine, so JavaScript we will support in client machine. When we install Node.js on server, the JavaScript we will support on server also. Node.js provide rich library of various JavaScript modules which simplify the development of web application. So in Node.js, there are inbuilt modules are available. Hush repositories, there's inbuilt modules are available. So that simplify the development of web application. Don't need to implement that concept. You need to import that modules from the Node.js library only. Node.js use asynchronous programmings. Whatever code you will written in Node.js, that is run on asynchronous manner, asynchronous programming concept. Asynchronous means what? Whenever you made the request, will not wait for the response. Control immediately to transfer to the serve next request. Node.js can be easily downloaded from this nodejs.org. So just go to the nodejs.org, download in executable form, install in your machine, and you can work with the Node.js. Now let us discuss various features of Node.js. Open source. Node.js is open source that is freely available. You don't need to pay. So freely available. Once open source, that means large community supports. Lots of users are working on the Node.js. So large community. If you face any difficulty, you can go to the Node.js forum and you can get a solution of it. So large community supports. Then cross-platform compatibility. Node.js may be used on variety of system, include it supports on it can run on Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac OS, and also mobile device. Then NPM, Node Package Manager, is a NPM is an has repository of Node.js package. So over 10 lakh open source packages available. Over 10 lakhs plus open source packages can available and you can freely use it. You can just need to import that packages in your application. Let's say for example, if you want to use if you want to work in a Node.js web base, so there is a framework Express. So you can download Express package Express module from the NPM and you can install that package in your application. If you want to work implement network related functionality, so there is a packages available related to network. If you want to create the server, so there is a HTTP modules. Same way, as per our need, we can integrate any packages in our application through the NPM. Then quick execution of code. The being built on Google Chrome V8 JavaScript engine, Node.js library is very fast in code executions. So because Node.js built on the Google Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine, the execution code of execution is fast. Then uses JavaScript. That means one language for front end and back ends. So to work with the Node.js, you need to learn only JavaScript. So what happened right now? If you want to become a full stack developer, if you want to become a full stack developer, the front end side to implement front end, we need to work on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We need to learn JavaScript. We want to learn JavaScript language. If you want to develop a backend, so backend server side programming needed. So let ASP.NET, JSP, PHP, Python. So you must have to knowledge for the server side programming language to implement the backend functionality. But now in Node.js, with the use of only JavaScript, with the use of only JavaScript, we can work with the front end as well as back ends. So if you want to design front end, we will use JavaScript. If you want to design backend, with the use of JavaScript, we can implement backend functionality. Now in Node.js, JavaScript now can able to run on the server. So with the use of JavaScript, we can able to make a connection with the database. We can able to perform read write operation on files. That means we can implement server side functionality also with the use of JavaScript. So with the use of one language only, we can work as a full stack developers. So no need to learn other server side programming language. That is the most important features of the JavaScript. Most important advantage of the JavaScript. With the single language, we can work front end as well as back ends. Then asynchronous programming. So asynchronous program is also called a non-blocking environment. Non-blocking environment. Asynchronous programming means what? Once you made a request for the resources, so Node.js based server never waits for the result. The control will immediately transfer to server. The control immediately transfer to the serve the next request. Let's say, for example, one request comes for the database access, one request comes for the file access, and one request comes for the other task. So what happen here, Node.js server will accept all these requests. Let's say first request come for database access, so Node.js server will accept that request. In a background, database request related tasks will be continue. Next request, let's say next request is to read and write operation on file. So Node.js server will also allow this read write operation, and background process will start for a read write operation. One task is completed. Once that task is completed, appropriate callback function will be called and that functionality will be implemented. Then fast data streaming. Node.js process data at very fast rate. It process and uploads a file simultaneously, thereby saving a lot of time. As a result, Node.js improve the overall speed of data and video streaming. Then single threaded but highly scalable. So whole Node.js process is run with the use of single threaded. It will not create multiple thread to handle all the process. All the processes execute. It serve different process. It serve different request with the use of single thread only. So Node.js use a single threaded model with event looping. Here we will use Node.js is use concept of event looping. So Node.js use single thread program, and same program can provide service to much larger number of requests than traditional server like Apache HTTP servers. So due to the asynchronous environment, though Node.js application is run on single thread but can able to serve more requests as compared to the traditional Apache HTTP server. Now where to use Node.js? In which situation it is suitable to use Node.js? First, IO bound applications. IO bound application means your requirement is such kind of that you need frequently read and write operation on your application. If you need frequently read and write operation, that is called a IO bound application. So if your application requires such kind of multiple read write operation, then it is suitable to use Node.js develop that kind of functionality in Node.js. Then data streaming application, if you use a Facebook or Instagrams, so what happen in Facebook and Instagram, once you content will be load, just you scroll it and scroll. Once you scroll it, immediately next content will be displayed without refreshing, next content will be load. Again, once you scroll up or scroll down, next content will be loaded without a refreshing. That is called a data streaming application. So in Node.js, that kind of functionality Node.js is used. And chat application, in chatting application, Node.js is used. If you want to build chat application, then Node.js will be used. Real-time application, in a situation that where quick response is required, at that time Node.js it is suitable to use concept of Node.js. Because of the asynchronous communication, your request will not wait for the response and control immediately to transfer to the server more requests. That means Node.js server can able to handle more requests as compared to the other server. Then JSON API based application. If you want to implement JSON based API, then it is suitable to use Node.js concept. If you want to call API or if you want to integrate others API in your application, then easy to use Node.js application. Then single page application. In single page application, it is more suitable to use Node.js application. And this is the diagram of event loop. that actually Node.js use. So Node.js, as discussed, Node.js is use event loop, concept of event loop to support to handle more requests as compared to the other traditional server. So in diagram we can see, so let's say request. So multiple request comes here. So let's say first request is for file system to read write operation on file. Second request is for a database access to retrieve database or to update in a database. Third request is for some computational charge. So once request is made for the file system, Node.js will serve as handle that request and it will create a queue for that. Let's first request comes from the for the file system. The Node.js server will receive this request and background process will be start for that. Second request database will accept also database background. In background database related task will be executed. Third request computational tasks also Node.js server accept this third request and background process will be once this database related task completed, appropriate callback function will be called. So one operation is complete, let's say database related task completed. So appropriate callback function will be called and response will be generated for that. And subsequent one subsequent operation will complete appropriate callback function will be called. So here callback and more callback to serve more the request is. Then environment setup in Node.js means how to work with the Node.js. If you want to start with Node.js, so what are the requirements of that? That we will discuss in the next lecture. In the next lecture.